What's up, everybody? This is Domingo Hero Network of the Ice Barrier, and today's Yu-Gi-Oh video I'm going to be doing, guys, I'm going to be doing a deck profile. And the deck profile that I'm going to be doing in this video is going to be my updated version of my scrap deck profile. And I gotta say, guys, I love this deck so much. I love scraps. This is a very good, fun deck to play. I love this deck so much. It's so much fun. The combos to play you can do with this deck is amazing. And scraps is one of my favorite decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! I love this deck so much. And I'm going to show you guys the main deck and the extra deck as well. Show you guys all my card choices and ratios of this deck profile. And of course, a couple changes that I did in this deck as well. And of course, on top, and as you can see right here, on top where the deck profile is, we got the 4 Scapegoat sheep tokens, because I do play Scapegoat, which I will get through that once I review this deck profile. So let's not waste any time. So without further ado, let's get this deck profile started. So here we go. We're going to start off with the main deck first. And I'm going to show you guys the monsters. And the monsters I'm going to show you first is the Scrap Tuna monsters. And these Tuna monsters are very good and as well as important in this deck. So we're going to play 3 copies of Scrap Raptor, 2 copies of Scrap Authoress, 1 copy of Scrap Goblin, and the 1 copy of Scrap Mind Reader. So these are the scrap tuners that we play. I like this ratio, playing like 7 scrap tuners, you know, with 3, 2, 1, 1. It's a good ratio. I actually like this ratio. Scrap Raptor is no doubt one of the best scrap tuners in this deck, and also one of the most important ones as well. And he has an effect that says you can target 1 card you control, destroy it. Also, during your main phase this turn, you can normal summon 1 scrap monster in addition to your normal summoning or slash set. If this card is destroyed by the effect of a scrap card and sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 scrap factory or 1 non-tuner scrap monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect of Scrap Raptor once per turn. This card is a very good tuner, like I said. The fact that you can search this card, the fact that you can use this card to search for a scrap factory or non-tuner scrap monsters like your Scrap Chimera, for example. The good thing about this card is that you normal summon this card, right? Normal summon Scrap Raptor, then you use this effect, target itself, destroy it, and you can still get the extra normal summoning too. Search for the Scrap Chimera, and then you normal summon that Chimera, and then you get the Scrap Raptor from the graveyard, and then you can go for your single play like Scrap Dragon, or you can go for your link plays and go over Scrap Wyvern. So there's so many plays you can do. So with this card, and it's absolutely amazing. You can even have Scrap Factory, and then you normal summon Raptor, and then destroy stuff, and then you can get Scrap Factory's effect as well. Like Scrap Raptor is an awesome tuner monster to play in this deck. Then we also got another tuner which is good as well, Scrap Authoress, and his effect reads, cannot be normal summoned as set, must first be special summoned from your hand while you control a scrap monster. It's summoned this way, target 1 scrap monster you control, destroy that target. If this card is destroyed by the effect of a scrap card sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 scrap monster in your graveyard except for Scrap Authoress, add that target to your hand. So it's pretty good, you know, it's a really good extender, and then you can destroy your other scrap tuner monster, so that way you can get their effects and stuff. It's pretty good if you have this and another scrap monster and Scrap Factory, and then you can, you know, get your synchro plays and leak plays and stuff like that. So Scrap Authoress is another important card in this deck as well. Then we played the 1 copy of Scrap Goblin, and I gotta say I'm very happy that Scrap Goblin actually got reprinted for the first time as an ultra rare, because I remember when this card first came out, it was always a common. It never got a reprint for so long, up until the Battle of Legends terminals were in, when it finally got reprinted as an ultra rare. And let me tell you, it looks so good as an ultra rare. I love this ultra rare Scrap Goblin. And if you want to know what Scrap Goblin does, his effect reads, cannot be destroyed by battle. And at the end of the battle phase, if this face-up defense position card is targeted for an attack, destroy this card. If this card is destroyed by the effect of a scrap card and sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 scrap monster in graveyard except for Scrap Goblin, add that target to your hand. So yeah, some of the scrap tuner monsters have the effects, you know, where you can, like, you know, when they get destroyed by the effect of a scrap card, you know, you can target any scrap monster in graveyard except for themselves, and then add it back to your hand. So it's pretty good. Scrap Goblin is basically like a brick wall, since he cannot be destroyed in battle permanently, and it's a very good level 3 tuner monster as well. And then we also got another tuner monster that I play, is Scrap Mind Reader. Scrap Mind Reader is actually a decent tuner, a very good level 1 tuner. The reason why we play him is because we do play the Atomic Scrap Dragon, because you're going to need this card if you want to go Atomic Scrap Dragon, which is the level 10 single monster. And if you want to know the effect of Scrap Mind Reader, what he does, its effect read once per turn. If this card it says while this card is in your graveyard during your main phase 2, you can target one face of scrap monster you control, except for Scrap Mind Reader, destroy that monster, then special summon this card from the graveyard. If you do, this card will be banished when it leaves the field. And if this card has been used as a synchro, and of course this card is used as a synchro material monsters, all other synchro material monsters must be scrap monsters. Which, almost every monster deck are scrap monsters, so that should not be a problem. And it's all good. So yeah, it's a very good level 1 tuner monsters. All these tuner monsters are pretty good, especially Scrap Raptor, because Scrap Raptor, like I said, is probably the best scrap tuner out of all of them, and one of the most important ones you're going to need for this deck. Alright, now we're going to move on to the non-tuner scrap monsters, and these are also important as well, and I'm going to show you why. So, I play 3 copies of Scrap Golem, 3 copies of Scrap Recycler, and 3 copies of Scrap Chimera. So these are the 3 ups that we play, and of course Golem, you want to know what he does. He's the refrigerator, of course, has an effect that reads, once per turn, you can target a level 4 lower scrap monster in your graveyard, special summon to either place side of the field, which you always get a special summon on your side of the field, so you don't need to summon it to your opponent's field. You don't need to do that, because you're always going to summon it to your field, because it helps you go for your synchro plays and link plays as well, especially if you have your tuner monsters in your graveyard, like your Goblin or your Raptor or stuff like that, help you go for your synchro plays with synchro monsters like Scrap Dragon, Scrap Twin, and you can even special summon this card with Scrap Factory from the deck, which is very, very good. Same thing with Scrap Recycler. Recycler is pretty good. He has an effect where when this card is normal summon, you can send 1 machine monster from your deck to the graveyard. So it's a foolish barrier for machines, and we actually do play some machine monsters to send from the deck to the graveyard using the effect of Recycler, which I'll get to that in just a moment. And then we got Scrap Chimera. Chimera is very good as well. It's also one of the most important non-tuner scrap monsters unique, because what he does is this card cannot be used as a single material except for single material of a scrap monster, and all other materials must be scrap monsters as well. So when this card is normal summoning, you can target 1 scrap tuner monster from your graveyard and special summon that target. So it's pretty good. It's good, like if like I mentioned with the combo with Scrap Raptor, once you get search for a Chimera, when you just normal summon Scrap Raptor, then you get that extra normal summoning. And not only that, but also when you normal summon the Chimera, you can get your Scrap Raptor back from your graveyard. So it's a pretty good combo to play, especially if you want to go for your single plays like Scrap Dragon, or you can go for your link plays with Scrap Wyvern as well. So there's so many ways you can do with this card. So it's very, very good. I like this ratio, 3, 3, 3. I feel like 3 of each of these is better, because you're gonna need to see a lot more of these and help you go for your combos and plays and summon out your link monsters and synchro monsters. Alright, and there's only 1 scrap monster that I play to round up the scrap monsters, and I only play a 1 of, and that's the 1 copy of Scrap Shard. Scrap Shard is pretty good. What he does is, if a card effect is activated, like a monster effect or a spell or trap card is activated, destroy this face-up card. Then if this card is destroyed by the effect of a scrap card sent to the graveyard, you could send 1 scrap monster from your deck to the graveyard. And the good thing about Scrap Shark is that if you have this and you have the field spell Scrap Factory, you normal summon Scrap Shark, activate the Scrap Factory, and then you get both of their effects. Chain Link 1 is the Scrap Shard, and then Chain Link 2 will be Scrap Factory. For Scrap Factory, you summon a scrap monster from your deck, and then use Foolish Burial, a scrap monster with Scrap Charge effect. It's good, like if you summon out your Golem, then you can send your scrap tuner monsters like your Goblin or your Raptor, and then special summon it with Golem's effect and stuff. It's very, very good. Now, I remember at one point this card was not all that good, but because it's the field spell Scrap Factory, Scrap Shard is actually very good now. Because if it wasn't for Scrap Factory, I probably would have never played this card, but because we got the Fields of Scrap Factory and the combo I set with that card and Scrap Shard, I think Scrap Shard is very useful and very good in this deck now. And you only need 1. You don't need to play multiple copies. I think 1 is all you need. Alright, so that's it for the scrap monsters. Now we're going to go for the non-scrap monsters that we play. And like I mentioned before, these are the machine monsters that I play that you're going to Foolish Burial using the effect of Scrap Recycler. So I'm going to show you these machine monsters that we do play, and it really helped out this deck a lot. So I do play 1 copy of Mecha Phantom Beast Olion, 1 copy of Jet Synchron, 1 copy of World Legacy World Crown, and 1 copy of Crystron Rosenin. So these are the machine monsters that you're going to Foolish Burial with Scrap Recycler. They're all pretty good. O-Lion's pretty good because, you know, when this card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a level 3 token monster. Jet Synchro has an effect where if this card is in the graveyard, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard and special summon it from your graveyard. But if you activate that effect, it will be banished when it leaves the field. World Legacy, World Crown. The reason why we play this card is because we do play the Link Monster Limb, the World Master Keyblade. So that's why this card is very important in this deck, and that's why we played it, because we do play a couple of cards from World Chalice in this deck. And then Crystron Roseneck, you know, when this card is, if this card is in the graveyard, you can banish it and then special summon a level 1 Crystron Roseneck token card. So it's pretty good. And the good thing about this, when you summon out like your Roseneck and O-Lion's tokens, or you can even go for your Link plays after that, or you can even go for you can use the effect of Scrap Dragon to pop it and then pop a card you're putting, or the Scrap Twin Dragon, whatever, all that stuff. Even Scrap Wyvern too, but they're all pretty good. So these are very good machine monsters to play in this deck, since these are the reasons why we play it, because of the effect of Scrap Recycler. Alright, and we got one more non-scrap monster to round out the monsters, and that's the one copy of Redox Dragon Ruler Bulldozers. Since all of my scrap monsters are Earth attribute, playing Redox in this deck is very good. Redox is amazing in this deck. I love Redox. Redox is one of my favorite Dragon Rulers. He has a very good defense of 3,000 defense point. He has an effect where if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you could banish the total of 2 Earth monster and / or Dragon type monster from your hand and / or graveyard, except this card. Special summon this card. During your opponent's end phase, if this card is special summon, you could return it to the hand. And he has another effect where you can discard this card and 1 Earth monster from your hand to the graveyard to target 1 monster in your graveyard and special summon it. And of course, you only have to activate one of these effects of Redox per turn only once that turn, so do keep that in mind. But Redox is so good because he's the monster reborn in this deck. It's very good. Like if you want to special summon out your monsters, if you have your Scrap Dragon or Scrap Wyvern in your graveyard, you can special summon it with Redox. And Redox is very important, especially, it's a very good extender. The Monster Reborn effect is very good in as well. I actually like playing Redox in this deck. And you only need to play 1 of this. So 1 is all you need in this deck. That's it for the monsters. Now we're going to move on to the spells. And I'm going to show you all the spell cards that I use for scraps. So the 3 of us we play is 3 copies of Scrap Factory, 3 copies of Scrap Yard, and 3 copies of Scrap Storm. So I play 3 of each of these cards. These are the scrap spell cards that we do play in this deck. They're also one of the most important cards you need in this deck. Scrap Factory is a very awesome field spell. What this card does, it says all scrap monsters gains 200 attack and defense. When a face-up scrap monster on the field is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, except during the damage step, you can special summon 1 scrap monster from your deck. You can only use this effect of Scrap Factory once per turn. Awesome field spell. It helps you go for your synchro plays and link plays very easily to do. And the fact that give all the scrap monsters a 200 attack and defense is actually pretty good. And another card we do play, of course, is Scrap Yard. I know some people play this card like 1 or 2. I like it at 3 better, honestly. I feel like 3 is better because this card is very important, especially if you want to get your Scrap Tune around, because what it does, it's basically a reinforcement of the army, but it only searches for 1 Scrap Tutor monster and add that to your deck to your hand, so it's very important, especially if you want to go for your Scrap Raptor. And then we got Scrap Storm, which is another very good card to play. It's a good quick play spell. What it does is you can target 1 scrap monster you control, send 1 scrap monster from your deck to the graveyard, then draw 1 card, then destroy that monster. It's pretty good, like if you have Scrap Storm, Scrap Factory, use Scrap Storm's effect on your scrap monster, all that stuff, and then you activate Scrap Factory's effect, so it's very, very good in this deck. So I actually like these cards. I think playing 3 factories, 3 scrap yards, and 3 scrap storm is very good. You always got to play these cards at 3. 1 or 2 is not good enough. You always got to play 3, in my opinion. Alright, so now for the other spell cards that I play 3 copies of Scapegoat, as you can see, since, I got all the sheep tokens right here. Scapegoat is very good in this deck, and of course the Scapegoat monsters, all the Scapegoat sheep tokens are Earth attribute as well. I do play this card because, we do play like other Earth synchro monsters. You can even pop one of the Scapegoat tokens using the effects of Scrap Dragon or your Scrap Twin Dragon. And it's good for your single plays, and it's also good for link plays too if you want to go for like other link monsters or even your scrap Wyvern and stuff like that, or the limb key, all that limb link monster that I played, the World Legacy limb. It's pretty good. You know, Scapegoat helps out a lot in certain situations, like, and of course, if you ever go first, you know, you always got to set it face down, and then you can only activate it during your opponent's turn, because you don't want to activate this during your turn. It's always better to activate during your opponent's turn, because, you know, if you activate your turn, because once this turn card is activated, you cannot special summon any monsters after you activate the effect of Scapegoat, but you could set monsters. So it's always better to activate this during your opponent's turn most of the time, so it'll be a lot easier. Alright, the other spell cards I do play, I play 2 copies of World Legacy Succession. Succession is pretty good, you know. It's a monster reborn. It says you can target 1 monster in graveyard and special summon it to a zone that a link monster points to, and you can only activate 1 World Legacy Succession once per turn. It's basically your monster reborn, and we do play the cards like Limb and World Crown and stuff like that, so this card is very good to play. I think 2 copies is fine. And for the 1-of spells, I play 1 copy of Monster Reborn, 1 copy of Terraforming, and the 1 copy of Harvey's Feather Dusters to round out the spells. Monster Reborn, you know, special summon a monster in the graveyard is very important. Terraforming we play because it helps you search for Scrap Factory, and Harvey's Feather Dusters just to get rid of your opponent's spells and traps. Alright, so that's it for the spells. As far as the traps, I only play 6, and these cards are very good. It really helped out this deck a lot, so I do recommend playing these cards. I mean, you don't have to play if you want to, but it's all up to personal preference. But here are the 6 trap cards that I do play in this deck. I do play 3 copies of Call of the Haunted, and 3 copies of Phoenix Chain just to round out the main deck and round out the traps. Call of the Haunted, Phoenix Chain, these 2 cards are very good continuous trap cards. You know, with Call of the Haunted, you know, target a monster you can turn the graveyard, special summon attack position is very, very good. It helps you go for your synchro play. And the good thing about this card, when that monster, you know, leaves the field, and yes, the Call of the Haunted still stay on the field, but the good thing about that is that you can actually pop the Call of the Haunted using the effect of your Scrap Dragon or your Scrap Twin Dragon, and then you can use Call of the Haunted, you know, to pop it, and then you can get their effects and stuff. It's very, very good. And Call of the Haunted helped out this deck a lot. I really love this card, Call of the Haunted. It's very useful, and it's very important, especially if you want to get all your scrap materials from your graveyard stuff, and then you can go for your sequel plays, and then you can pop the Call of the Haunted stuff as a very good. It's very, very good. Phoenix Chain is also good as well. It's good because, like, you know, negate an opponent's effect monster is very good, you know, is very important. But if your opponent finds a way to get through it, and if your Phoenix Chain still in your spell and trap zone, you can even pop it with your Scrap Dragon, Scrap Twin Dragon as well. And Phoenix Chain and Call of the Haunted, these 2 trap cards really help out a lot, and these cards are amazing in this deck. Definitely try this out and give it a chance. Alright, so that's it for the main deck. Now we're going to move on to the extra deck. So we're going to start off with the Synchros. I do play 3 copies of Scrap Dragon, 3 copies of Scrap Twin Dragon, and the 1 copy of Atomic Scrap Dragon. These are all the Scrap Synchros that we play. Scrap Dragon is amazing. You know, we all know what it does. Once per turn, you target 1 card you control and 1 card your opponent control and destroy those targets. Scrap Twin Dragon has effect once per turn. You can target 1 card you control and destroy it, and then you target exactly 2 cards your opponent control and bounce them to the hand. Atomic Scrap Dragon has an effect where you can target 1 card you control and destroy it, and then you target up to 3 cards in your opponent's graveyard and shuffle it to the deck. And also, all these synchro have the same effect where if they're destroyed by an opponent's card by battle or by card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 non-synchro scrap monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So it's pretty good. So it's like a monster reborn afterward when they get destroyed. But of course they have to be destroyed and sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card in order to use the effect. But these synchro monsters are amazing. They're very, very good to play. I know some people play like 2 Scrap Dragon, 2 Twins. I like it at 3 better. I feel like 3 is actually better. I don't like it at 2. 3 is actually better in my opinion. And as far as the other singles that I play, and this is the reason why I play the 3 copies of Scapegoat, is because we can actually summon out these Synchro monsters, and they're also Earth monsters as well. 1 copy of Notoria Beast, 1 copy of Notoria Barkion, and the 1 copy of Notoria Landors to round out the Synchros. So Beast, Barkion, and Landors is pretty good. You know, Beast, it negates the spell cards by sending the top 2 cards from your deck to the graveyard. Barkion negates a trap and destroy when you banish the 2 cards from your graveyard. Landors negates a monster effect by sending a spell card from your hand to the graveyard in order to negate an opponent's monster destroy. So it's pretty good. These Notorious Synchros are really helped out this deck a lot. Very good negations because these are very important to play. That's why I play the 3 Scapegoats, so that way you can easily go for these cards easily. So level 5 Beast, level 6 Barker, level 7 Landoys. Landoys does come up at times, and I do play a lot of spell cards. If you want to know how many spell cards I play in this deck, I think around 16, I believe. So yeah, that's it for the Synchros. Now we're going to move on to the links. So the first link monster I play is 2 copies of Scrap Wyvern. Scrap Wyvern is an awesome link monster in this deck. One of the most important cards in this deck too, the extra deck for scraps. What this card does is you can target 1 scrap monster in your graveyard, special summon it, then destroy 1 card you control. If another face-up scrap monster is destroyed by a card effect while you control this monster, except during the damage step, you can special summon 1 scrap monster from your deck, then destroy 1 card on the field. You can only use each effect of Scrap Wyvern once per turn. It's a very good link monster because it goes for your combo plays, summon out your Synchros faster, go for your link plays faster. Like, Scrap Wyvern is amazing. And this card is actually very good at 2. You don't need to play 3. I think 2 of these is fine. I think it's the perfect number. Now, as far as the other linked monsters that I do play, I play 1 copy of Lim the World Key Blade Master, 1 copy of Boar Lord Dragon, and the 1 copy of Boar Sword Dragon to round off the extra deck and the link monsters. Liv is pretty good because we do play the World Crown in the day. And the good thing about Blade Master is that you can use any monsters as link material because it says 2 monsters. What this card does, it has an effect where it can only be link summoned while you have a World Legacy card in your graveyard. So you got to make sure you have World Legacy World Crown in your graveyard in order to summon out this card. And also you can only use each of the following effects of Live once per turn. One of the effects reads during your main phase, you can set 1 World Legacy spell and traps directly from your deck. And of course, but it cannot be activated the turn while you have no World Legacy monster in your graveyard. And of course, the card you always got to set is of course your World Legacy section. And then you got another effect where if this link summoning card is sent to the graveyard as a link material, you can shuffle one card on the field into the deck. So it's pretty good, like a little go shuffling, recycling. So it's pretty good. Then we got Boar Lord Dragon and Boar Sword Dragon. Of course, Boar Lord, you know, very good. You know, neither player cannot target this card with monster effects, and then once per turn quick effect, you target 1 face-up monster on the field and lose 500 attack and defense. Your opponent cannot activate cards effect in response to that effect's activation. At the start of the damage step, if this card attacks an opponent's monster, you can place that opponent's monster in a zone this card points to, and then take control of it, but it will be sent to the graveyard during the end phase of the next turn. And Boar Sword Dragon's effect cannot be destroyed by battle. Once per turn quick effect, you can target 1 attack position monster changes to defense position. Also, this card could attack it can make a second attack during each battle phase this turn, basically attack twice. Your opponent cannot activate cards effect and respond to that effect's evacuation. And then once per turn, when this card declares an attack on a face-up monster, you can activate this effect until the end phase of this turn. This card gains attack equal to half of the monster's current attack point, and if it does, that monster's current attack points is havoc, basically cut in half. So these are very good link monsters to play, and they're actually pretty good in scraps. They really help out a lot, and you can easily go for these link plays. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoy my updated version of my scrap deck profile. It's a lot of fun. It's amazing. One of my favorite decks, and it is very, very good. So that's going to be it for this video. Don't forget to like the video, share, subscribe, and post your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about my updated version of my scrap deck profile. That's going to be it for this video. This is Domingo Hero Network of the Ice Barrier. All I can say is take care. Have a good day. Goodbye, everyone. And Domingo Hero Network of the Ice Barrier is signing out. Peace.